Good morning.
大家好早起。
There was once a study done by a psychologist named Dr. Henry Goddard.
有一位心理學家Dr. Goddard 有做到一個研究，
His psychological study was about the energy levels of children.
伊這個研究呢是關於底下囡仔，伊一款叫做伊嘅快樂到底伊有幾低。
And he used an instrument he called the ergograph.
伊就用一個叫做機器哦，是叫做測力嘅器。
His findings were fascinating.
伊所研究出來嘅攏真有趣味。
He found out that when tired children were given a word of praise or encouragement,
伊發現到當一個真野線嘅囡仔，當咱若是伊若互伊一句叫做鼓勵嘅話。
the ergograph shows that there is an immediate surge of energy in the children.
伊用嘅這個機器呢，就發現到講說，這個囡仔吼，伊嘅快樂度底下，隨隨底下來升高起去。
But when the children are criticized or discouraged,
但是假使這個囡仔若是用批評嘅話、嫌意嘅話的時陣，
the ergograph shows that their energy shows a sudden nosedive.
就發現到這個機器看到這個囡仔，伊嘅快樂度忽然間就落落去。
Those results could probably be duplicated among adults as well.
這款嘅現象，佇囡仔嘅現象，有可能佇咱做大人發生重複。
When we are praised, our energy level goes up.
當咱若是大人，佇下得到人嘅呵咯認同嘅時陣，咱嘅這個快樂度就佇下升起去。
We become happier, healthier, confident people when we are encouraged.
咱就當人若鼓勵咱嘅時陣，咱就比較有信心，咱就較歡喜，而且會較健康。
But when we are criticized, our energy levels goes down.
但是當別人若批評咱講咱嘅時陣呢，咱嘅這個快樂就漸落落去，
We feel tired, we feel sick.
咱就感覺真野線，較咱要唔好咯。
It's like there's power in the words we receive as people.
互咱看到，佇咱得到別人講嘅話呢，對咱來講是一款嘅能力。
Something happens in our brain, something happens in our heart, something happens in our soul when we are encouraged.
所以當別人若佇遐鼓勵咱嘅時陣，講一句鼓勵話互咱嘅時陣呢，佇咱嘅頭殼，佇咱嘅身軀頂，有可能有產生一款真袂法當講出嘅一款嘅經歷。
The question for us today is, are we life givers or are we life drainers?
今仔日我要問咱大家一條問題：到底你是毋是一個使生命者，還是你是互人流失生命嘅人？
Do we give words that give people energy, or do we give words that sap out the energy out of people?
咱講嘅話，是毋是互別人佇遐？靠一擺佇遐有得到力量，還是咱所講嘅每一句話，別人聽到就將因身軀頂嘅所有嘅快樂能力攏走無去。
The truth is, we all need encouragement.
事實上，咱每一個人攏需要別人鼓勵咱。
All of us, we get run down, we get disheartened once in a while.
咱知影，咱有時陣呢，咱佇遐袂免得有陣啊會心靈、身軀會破碎，還是咱會灰心，還是失敗。
That's the longing of every human heart. Do I matter? Am I special? Am I valued? Am I loved?
咱常常問咱家己，我毋知影到底咱所做對任何人有真正重要無？是毋是別人有聽我無？關心我無？
We can use a little boost every now and then.
我相信咱有法當有陣啊，有陣佇遐互人有一款叫做鼓勵快樂，
A good talk,
就是叫伊好好坐咧談，
a pat in the back,
還是佇個家隻佇遐甲伊拍，
a helping hand,
還是佇遐叫伊洗手，
kind words,
還是講好聽嘅話，
encouraging words.
講鼓勵人嘅話。
You see, to give someone a boost means to lift them up.
咱要互人一點點嘅鼓勵，意思是講說，將這個人該扶持起來。
To build them up when they are knocked down.
就是當這個人跌倒嘅時陣呢，咱佇遐幫助伊建立起來，佫徛起來。
This encouragement
這款嘅鼓勵，
is essential for any healthy marriage.
就是佇保持婚姻嘅必要，
It's vital to any healthy family.
就是佇要有一個健康嘅婚姻， 健康的家庭生活的必要。
If there is no encouragement in our relationships,
假使咱甲人的关系若无有得到彼此鼓励，
marriages break down.
婚姻就真紧的伫遐破碎，
A parent-child relationship fails.
家长甲囡仔的关系就无好势。
This is a powerful tool, a powerful factor in every family.
一个互人看到每一个家庭内面是一个真有能力的物件。
Encouragement essentially means to give courage to someone.
咱若伫遐叫做要互人伫遐鼓励人，就是讲说，互伊一个真大的勇气。
And we give it even if they don't deserve it.
就是讲说，一个人袂配得应该就得到，你也是愿意伫遐鼓励一个人。
And even if they don't ask for it.
啊是讲说，伊都无甲你请求，无甲你讨，你也是伫遐要好伊。
God invites us to give encouragement in spite of the persons.
就是上帝爱咱伫遐，无论看到一个人伊是怎样，咱伫遐爱鼓励伊。
Because that's the character of God.
这因为是上帝的本性，
Ultimately, He is the encourager of our
因为
lives.
咱知影上帝是唯一鼓励咱每一个人的心，
Even when we don't deserve
就
it.
是咱袂配得。
To give encouragement is to give support.
要互人要鼓励人，就是扶持人、支持人，
To give confidence, to give hope.
互一个人加添嘅信心，互一个人加一点仔盼望，
It also means to cheer up,
啊是讲说互伊较欢喜淡薄，
to inspire,
互伊伫遐
To
感动伊，
to motivate,
伫遐促进伊，
to vitalize someone,
互伊加再佫有气力，
to embolden
互伊佫
others.
一摆刚强壮大。
That's the impact of encouragement. It makes a difference in
咱
our
看到
lives.
鼓励，伊带来一个好的影响力。
Even neuroscience affirms the power of encouragement in people.
甚至是伫医学界，就是叫做咧管一个神经科，因会跩医学，伊也是相信认同这项代志。
Criticism
咧批评人，
releases harmful stress hormones that makes us sick.
伊就恁若伫遐听到人咧常常批评咱呢，就互咱伫遐咱的脑内大脑哦，会放出一寡害咱身躯的一寡跩激素。
When we are discouraged or criticized, it affects our concentration, it affects our performance as human beings.
当别人若伫遐无停咧批评咱、咧嫌咱呢，就影响到咱专注咱的力量呢，减少咱大脑的功能，
It diminishes the brain's functioning.
而且互咱的大脑无法通伫遐来顶当好势。
But when we are encouraged, when we are praised,
但是当咱若是得到别人的呵护、别人的认同，
we become calm,
咱就伫遐较定静，
we become focused,
咱就较专注，
we excel,
咱就发通车来做超紧咱所做的。
and we are more reasonable in our thinking.
然后伫咱的思想，咱较有法通理性，会伫遐来反映甲思考。
The truth is, encouragement does not cost us anything.
事实上，讲一句鼓励人的话，我无需要伫遐来互你开真侪钱，
It doesn't take much time to deliver.
若毋是讲说，就需要真侪时间去讲迄句鼓励人的话。
But they are a valuable gift that we give to people.
但是可见，咱讲一句鼓励人的话，嗰是对别人来讲是一个真有价值的礼物。
Are you using encouraging words to build your children?
你是毋是用着鼓励的话伫遐来建立你的囡仔？
Are you using encouraging words to build your
你
marriage?
是毋是用着鼓励的话来建立你的婚姻？
Is your family characterized by encouragement?
是毋是你的家庭伊的气氛是充满鼓励人的气氛吗？
Many times in our sinful nature, our default is to give criticism instead of encouragement.
真侪时阵，因为咱犯罪、咱败坏的时阵，咱通常爱伫遐批评人、爱嫌人、讲人。
Instead of boosting our spouse and encouraging our children, we criticize them.
咱无伫遐来鼓励，伫遐来鼓励咱的牵手的，还是咱的囡仔，咱常常伫遐就是用跩批评人、讲因的话。
So family meals together become a place of criticism.
所以，反正一个家庭诚做真够批评来批评去的所在。
We have to change. We have to stop that.
咱应该就伫遐来停落，伫遐应该爱改变。
We have to become life givers instead of life drainers.
咱应该就爱做一个输生命的人，毋是将生命伫遐互人流失的人。
But out of interest, why are we like that? Why is it hard for us to encourage others?
咱就问咱家己，咱为什么吼咱艰苦鼓励人，反倒吼较爱批评人、爱嫌人、讲人啊？
If you are like me, I grew up, it's easier for me to criticize or to be sarcastic or to insult others.
假使你若是亲像我是生长伫一个环境内面，伫遐真爱批评人、爱讲人、爱酸人。
And it's extra effort. It's hard for me to give praise, to give encouragement, or to affirm someone.
对我来讲呢，我实在是真艰苦、真有困难，伫遐要怎我来鼓励人，还是伫遐来认同人。
That's our family culture.
这个是我家庭，我生长伫我这个家庭的文化。
When something good happens, we shut up.
所以伫我这个家庭呢，伫我这个中大的家庭内面，若有好的代志，大家静静无要做声，唔讲话。
When something bad happens, you hear everyone talking.
但是当歹代志发生哦，大家人就大声起来讲话咯。
There are at least 3 reasons why we are like that.
咱来看有3个原因，为什么咱会安尼睇？
The first is they say, because we tend to be insecure.
头一个是因为咱家己无安全感。
Insecure people will have a hard time encouraging others.
若是无安全感的人呢，伊真艰苦伫遐来鼓励别人。
Because we always compare ourselves with others and we compete with others.
因为无安全感的人呢，常常甲别人常常咧比较，也真常叫别人伫遐咧竞争。
And so when somebody is successful or does something good, we are not happy.
所以当你看到别人真成功，还是做一项好的代志呢，你看到心肝就无爽咯。
Because of our insecurity, we become jealous of their accomplishments or achievements.
因为咱家己无安全，对家己无安全感，当你看到别人成功的时阵呢，你就开始怨妒伊。
But when somebody fails or made a mistake, we are happy.
但然后呢，当你看到别人失败还是跌倒，你就非常的欢喜。
We will not be encouraging.
咱袂鼓励伊啊，
We will probably even kick the person when he is down.
甚至这个人已经跌倒，你搁伫遐用骹踢伊。
The more insecure we are, the less encouraging we become.
咱愈做无安全的时阵呢，咱就真艰苦，伫遐要去鼓励别人。
And there are many insecure people among us.
我相信伫咱中间也是有真侪有一款叫做无安全感的人，
That's why it's not our nature to encourage.
所以这就毋是咱的本性，伫遐要来爱鼓励别人。
The second reason they say is because we grew up discouraged and wounded ourselves.
第二个原因是因为咱对一个叫做着伤的环境伫遐大汉起来。
Most of us have been insulted, criticized, rejected, and discouraged all our lives.
咱知影，咱每一个人，咱过去有真侪摆，互人伫遐拒绝，互人伫遐批评，互人嫌。
And emotionally wounded people will have a hard time encouraging others.
所以咱心灵，咱的情绪、心灵伫遐创伤的时阵呢，咱着伤的时阵，咱就真艰苦伫遐去鼓励别人。
And because of this, we have a pessimistic, negative view of life.
因为安尼款的遭遇、的经历的时阵呢，就互咱对人生的观念真悲观。
We always see the glass half empty.
咱逐摆看一杯水哦，是定定半杯无满。
We believe that things will get worse.
咱就相信讲说，代志愈来会愈较凄惨、愈较严重。
We see negatively about the world and we see negatively about ourselves.
咱伫遐看世界，无论是看世界还是看家己，拢是真用消极的方法来去看。
We think about ourselves and we say, I'm such a loser. Things will not work out for me. I'm such a failure.
你就看你家己讲说，我是一个失败者，我无法当做半项。
I hate myself. I hate my life.
我恨我家己，我恨我的人生。
You see, it's much harder to encourage others when we ourselves, we are not encouraging ourselves.
咱真艰苦鼓励别人，但咱家己无得到鼓励。
Because wounded people are longing for others to encourage them.
因为心灵创伤的人，因需要别人伫遐来鼓励因。
The third reason they say is because we have a habit of finding fault.
第三个原因是因为咱有一个叫做真够挑剔、真够批评人的一个歹习惯。
It's like we were trained to see nothing but the negative.
就是较咱讲说，你训练你吼，真够看人别人的唔对，嫌别人的唔对。
It's easier to catch people doing something wrong than catch people doing something right.
就是真容易伫遐看人别人创唔对的所在，比较看别人创好的所在较多。
One of the reasons is because we have unrealistic expectations.
为什么咱安尼看呢？做法呢？头一个是因为咱对人有一个叫做无实际的期待。
Sometimes we set up our children or our spouse to a place where it is impossible for them to fail.
比如讲说，咱伫遐互咱的牵手，还是互咱的囡仔，互因伫遐爱达到一个标准，那因做袂到的。
Where they are expected not to make a mistake at all.
然后你伫遐讲说，恁袂做唔对，你袂做犯错，
That's impossible.
这个是无可能的。
And sometimes it's also because of our pride.
有时就是因为咱的骄傲。
Sometimes we think when we highlight people's fault, we put them down and we lift ourselves up.
有时阵呢，因着咱的骄傲，咱若是伫遐将常常指出别人的唔对的时阵，将别人给压落来的时阵，就互你家己看这讲说你比别人较高，比别人较好。
It's like complimenting others will not make us look good.
换一句话，你伫遐恶视别人、恶落别人哦，对你来讲就无什么利益啊。
But when we criticize others, when we highlight their shortcomings, we feel that it will make us look better.
但是当咱伫遐开始批评嫌人的时阵呢，就互人看到讲说你比别人较高，比别人较好。
And sometimes also we find that giving compliments is a negative thing.
有时阵呢，咱认为讲说恶落别人是一款叫做负面的代志。
We have this false idea that when we compliment our spouse, when we praise our children, they will turn up to be conceited or spoiled.
咱有一款叫做唔对的观念，咱认为讲说，我若伫遐学习我的牵手，学习我的囡仔呢，因到时会大头啊。
Or they will always expect a pat in the back every time they do something good.
啊是无论因若做什么好的代志，因就伫遐咧等讲说，我要看你要想伊什么。
So when they do something nice, excellent, or good, we shut up.
所以当咱的无论是咱的牵手的，还是咱的囡仔，因若做什么好的对的代志呢，咱就静静唔敢做声。
And so the only time we talk to them is when they do something bad.
所以咱开嘴时阵是当因做唔对的代志，开始伫遐嫌因讲因。
I propose that is a false way of looking at relationships.
我家己建议，这款的看法都是唔对的看法。
If too much compliment is wrong,
假使若是伤过做恶路人，若是唔对；
and too much criticism is also wrong,
若是伤够嫌别人，也是唔对。
and if we cannot balance,
假使咱若无法通互这两项代志平衡，
I would rather be on the wrong side of too much compliment
我宁愿去到迄个叫做恶路伤过头这项代志，
rather than be on the side of too much criticism.
无愿意去到迄个真爱嫌人的这方面。
Because our words are powerful. They can build a person or they can destroy a person.
因为咱讲的每一句话是真有能力的，咱我通帮助建立一个人，也我通毁掉一个人。
We are better off giving more praise
咱若晓来伫遐来恶路建立人，其实比较较好的。
than just being silent or dwelling only on the wrong.
比较咱静静无说声，还是真够嫌人。
There was once a brilliant, successful person.
曾经有一位聪明佮成功的人，
But amidst his success, he's also a demanding person.
虽然伊真成功，但是这个人也是真严格。
He does not want to shower his subordinates or his children with compliments.
无论是伊公司的叫做工人，还是伊的囡仔呢，伊拢唔爱讲一句恶死因的话。
So he never praised, encouraged, or affirmed or gave compliment to any of his employees or his children.
所以这个人伊唔捌向伊公司的跩人，还是伊的厝内囡仔呢，讲一句鼓励因认同的话。
In his dying days, he realized finally that his leadership style is not good.
所以当伊伫晚年的时阵，特别离开世间的时阵，伊就发觉这项代志，讲到伊这个领导的方法都是唔对的。
A young lady one day asked him,
有一位少年的女士伫遐一摆问伊，
if you have to live your life all over again,
伊就讲说：假使你若有机会，佫活过一摆来，
what will you do differently?
你要做了什么无相同的代志呢？
This man thought for a moment,
这个人就想这，
and then he replied.
伊就回答讲，
He said, I wish I would give more praise.
伊讲说，我希望我通互人更较侪恶老人的话。
I hope it's not yet too late for all of us
但愿咱今仔日唔是讲说也佫已经伤晚咯，
to understand the power of encouragement to a person.
互咱明白讲说，咱若讲一句鼓励人的话，对别人听到是偌大的帮
Or,
赞，
or to our children,
啊是对咱的囡仔，啊
or to our
是
spouse.
对咱的牵手的。
Sometimes we have this wrong belief that we can criticize a person until he gets better grades.
有时阵咱有一款唔对的观念，讲说咱就一直真够嫌批评一个囡仔，然后伊走法通教师知影咯，走法通分数读较好，
Or we can criticize a person to death until he gets a job.
啊是将一个人该嫌该批评到伊要死咯，伊走法通找到一个较好的头路。
Or we can criticize the person until he is blue and he becomes a better person.
啊是批评一个人，批评到这个人已经无法律咯，但愿伊走法通做一个好的、较好的人。
Our words have the power of life and death.
咱讲的话是有带着能力，看要互一个人活，还是要互一个人死。
We have 3 reflections from the book of Proverbs on this.
咱对真言有法通来看到这3项得到来的感想。
The Bible says, good words uplift the soul.
头一个是讲到好的话，法通来互咱的灵魂伫遐高举起来。
People who go through a lot of trouble and affliction,
当一个人若经历到真侪艰苦、苦难的时阵，
they need a good word from you.
伊伫遐对你伫遐真需要你讲一句好的话，互伊。
A good word can transform the situation or the perception of it.
一句好的话，法通改变代志的状况，还是对这项代志的看法有转变。
Good words that are true, that are kind, that comes from a loving heart.
即个叫做好的话，是因必须要爱真实的，是对咱心内底下来讲出来的，
It can make a difference in the person who is about to give up.
就是对一个人已经得要放弃咯，已经灰心咯，但是你讲一句好的话，你鼓励伊的话，就可以带来真大的帮助。
Good words that were spoken at the right time.
就是好的话，伫对的时间讲出去，
They enlighten, they comfort people.
伊就法通互一个人有亮光，伫遐通来安慰一个人。
They strengthen and they bless people.
然后伊祝福一个人，法通来坚固一个人。
If you speak the right thing at the right time,
假使你
it is good for the soul.
假使你若是伫对的时间、对的情形来讲好的话呢，就对一个人伊的心灵真大的帮助。
There's so many benefits with timely words.
咱来知影讲说，当咱若是别人听着咱讲的遮好听的话呢，好的话呢，就对这个人有真多的利益。
There are even passages that the person's body gets healed.
甚至有伫圣经内，你有看到有一寡人，咱若讲好的话呢，伊就对伊的病听中伫啊，则好起来。
When we speak good words,
当咱若讲好的话，
encouragement can make a difference.
一个鼓励人会对一个人会真大的差别。
There was once a literary group of men who gathered once a week at the University of Wisconsin.
有一摆有一寡诶叫做学生呢，伫美国的一个大学伫遐来有一个叫做文学的组织。
The members, they wanted to become poets, novelists, and authors.
这个文学组的遮成员呢，因伫遐将来爱成做一个叫做出名的诗人，还是小说家，还是作者。
And these are very talented writers.
遮是真有聪明、真高的写册的。
These young men met each other and read their writings.
所以这寡青年人呢，因逐摆伫遐相拄呢，然后就彼此伫遐读因所写的遮文章，
And they would criticize each other's work.
因就等于彼此伫遐来批评，还是评论每一个人因的工作。
After a while, they called their group the Stranglers.
经过无偌久的时阵，伊就这个小文学组就换名做叫做彼此 记死的、记暗鬼的，
because they're very tough, very strict, very critical of their evaluations.
因为因伫咧批评因每一个人的做文学作品呢，非常的严格啊。
At the same time, there was another group of literary geniuses who met.
然后有另外一寡诶小组也是安尼逐摆伫遐相拄，
But they called themselves not the stranglers, instead they called themselves the wranglers.
伊毋是即个一寡第二个组的人，伊毋是伫遐逼出咧记暗鬼咧记死，乃是叫做咧鼓马的，咧鼓咧饲马的。
When, like the other group, when they read their works aloud,
所以亲像伊个头一个组呢，当伊若开始读因做文学的作品，
something different occurs.
有一项奇妙的代志就发生。
They offered constructive encouragement.
因伫遐就提供了有好的鼓励，
They offered suggestions
因伫遐是有提供了一个好的建议，
and positive encouragement.
交一个积极的鼓励。
They erred on the side of motivation instead of mutilation.
因就是讲说，因伫遐要来爱帮赞，毋是伫遐来彼此互相杀害。
After 20 years,
所以经过20年了后，
an alumnus studied his batchmates.
所以有一位校友就伫遐来研究这两挂的学生。
And this alumnus made a surprising discovery.
这位校友就找出一个真奇怪或真奇妙的发现。
Not one of the members of the stranglers group
就是无任何一个，一个头一挂叫做在逼出咧记暗鬼的吼，
had made a significant literary writing.
无法度伫一个叫做文学界底下有一个真大的成就。
But on the Wranglers group, there were at least 6 successful authors.
但是伫这个第二挂，就是叫做在彼此鼓励的这挂的人呢，因有发现到，因毕业的时阵有6位成功的作者、文学作者。
You see, the Wranglers understood the difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism.
因为伫这个第二挂的人的时阵呢，因会明白了解到底什么是叫做建设性的批评，甲破坏性的批评。
They did not use flattery.
因无伫遐来压迫人，
Instead, they used encouragement.
因反正是用鼓励的话，
And the results showed the difference.
所以咱看到伊的效果是有真大的差别。
For example, in our families,
比如讲，伫咱的家庭内面，
when we come home,
当咱对外口倒来到厝内，
do you bring sunshine or do you bring gloom in the room?
你是毋是带着日光，还是带着黑暗入来到厝内啊？
Do people feel happier, healthier when you're around?
所以当你伫厝内时阵，你四周的人是毋是会感觉你的存在互因较欢喜啊？
Or do they feel miserable having you?
还是当看到你伫厝内伫伊的身边的时阵，互因真艰苦心？
If you're like me, I grew up as a negative, hateful person.
假使你是亲像我是伫一个叫做安尼无好的背景，安尼消极的背景大汉起来。
I had many excuses.
我有真侪遮口，
I would say, I was born this way.
我可能讲说，我生出来就是思想中的体啊，
Or this is my nature.
这是我的本性啊。
The truth is, God can change us.
事实上，上帝有法通改变你，
We can change.
咱有法通改变，
We can become known for encouragement.
咱有法通伫遐来诚做，有法通来鼓励别人。
We can create a family atmosphere filled with encouragement instead of criticism.
咱法伫咱的厝内面，伫家庭内面呢，法通来有一个叫做彼此鼓励的一款的气氛，毋是伫遐咧批评咧讲人的，
Healthier, happier.
跩会互咱更较欢喜、喜乐、更较健康。
Not perfect, but better.
虽然毋是叫做完全哦，但是比较较好。
You see, if we're not careful, all we see are problems.
假使咱若无小心呢，咱所看的拢是问题。
But when we are wise, we can always see the good in spite of the bad.
但是咱若是善良的时阵呢，咱看到的是虽然是歹，但是中内面也阁有好的物件。
We can catch people doing something good instead of simply catching them doing something bad.
咱法通看人到底因所做的有啥物好的无，毋是伫遐咧专咧找人的毋对。
Make your words a source of life.
但愿你的话成做生命的泉源，
Be a positive, encouraging person.
做一个积极鼓励人的话。
Be a blessing, not a burden to your family.
伫你的家庭，你是成做厝内的人的祝福，毋是你厝内人的重担。
Somebody once said, flatter me and I may not believe you. Criticize me and I may not like you. Ignore me and I may not forgive you. Encourage me and I will not forget you.
有一个人安尼讲说：你若压迫我，我可能无要相信你；你若批评我，我可能无欢喜你；你若毋插我，我可能袂原谅你。但是你若鼓励我，我永远袂记得你。
When your child makes a mistake
当一个囡仔若犯错的时阵，
or disappointed you,
还是互你失望，
it takes wisdom to bite your tongue
就需要智慧伫遐来控制你的舌头，
and choose the right words at the right time.
然后就精选对的话，伫对的时间讲出去。
It can either destroy the child forever
因为你若无说你讲出去的话，有可能会害死一个害死一个囡仔，规死人。
or build him up and make him turn around.
还是帮助一个囡仔建立起来，互伊成做更较好。
When you had a conflict with your spouse
当你甲你的牵手若伫遐有无好势冤家，
and you felt so disappointed,
还是你对你的牵手感觉真失望，
it takes wisdom to bite your tongue
就需要伫遐有智慧，将你的舌頭甲伊控制咧，
and choose the right words at the right time.
然後精選對的話，伫對的時間講出去。
It can spell the difference between a happy, healthy marriage
因為你若安尼做的時陣，就法通互你看到一個成功的婚姻，還是失敗的婚姻，
or a miserable life with a person who is always discouraging you.
還是一個叫做互你過到一個無快樂的人生，因為這個交你做一個人是常常伫遐咧批評你咧講你，
We can do this.
那法通安尼做無？
We can choose our words wisely.
那法通用着智慧伫遐來精選咱嘴要所講的壞話。
God can change us.
上帝法通改變人，
I am a testimony of that change.
我就是我一個見證，徛伫恁面頭前，
I'm a sarcastic person.
我是真夠伫遐來，真夠伫遐嫌人酸人的，
I'm an angry person.
我是一個真夠發脾氣的人，
I am a hateful person.
我是真夠生氣、卻憤的人。
My words are hurtful 80% of the time.
80%我所講的話是逐擺傷人的話。
My personality is rough and tough.
我這個人格剛好是伫遐真粗的，
I don't know how to give praise,
我袂曉來學羅人，
but I'm learning.
但是我現在咧學習。
My parents never taught me how to encourage. All I heard from them were criticisms.
我的父母唔捌教我怎樣來曉講一句學羅人的話，我逐擺所聽到是逐擺因咧嫌我咧講我的話，
But I'm learning.
但是我現在咧學習，
It's called the grace of God.
這就是上帝的恩典，
We can have better marriages.
咱有法通更較好的婚姻，
And we can become better parents.
咱法通成做更較好的父母家長，
We don't have to be like our parents.
咱無需要伫遐叫咱的父母安尼相同，
We can be better.
咱法通比咱的父母更較好。
You see, as Asians, we grew up in a culture that is silent when somebody deserves praise, but we speak loud when somebody deserves criticism.
咱是生活伫一個叫做亞洲的文化內面，就是當咱若有厝內若有啥做對的代志、好的代志，咱伫遐靜靜無做聲；但是當別人若有毋對的時陣，咱伫遐大聲伫遐講人嫌人。
We can change that.
咱有法通改變這項代志。
Your children will love you forever
你若安尼做的時陣，你的囡仔會真疼你，
because you did not end up like everybody else.
因為你甲別個父母無相同。
The second reflection on the book of Proverbs is this: good words, they heal the soul.
第二呢，互咱通來學，就是講說好的話，法通醫治咱的心靈。
You see, a sincere word of encouragement is like medicine to the soul.
互咱知影讲说，一个叫做鼓励人的话，是较亲像灵魂的良药，
It replaces despair with hope.
因为伊伫遐带一种希望，代替了绝望。
The Bible says, pleasant words are like honeycomb.
圣经讲说，良言亲像香的真甜的蜜，
It is sweet to the soul. It heals the bones.
伊互咱的心感觉到真甘甜，互咱的骨得到医治。
Appropriately spoken words, they soothe. They bring healing. They bring uplifting to the soul.
若是叫说讲嘴所讲的对的话呢，互咱的心灵得到真大的医治。
When somebody gives us good words, affirming words, appreciative words, loving words, it heals us spiritually and also physically.
当别人若互咱一句叫做有听心的话，鼓励咱的话，认同咱的话，伊就互咱无单单心灵呢得到伫遐医治呢，互咱的身躯得到医治。
Science confirms this.
科学有证实这项代志，
You notice
你有发现？
when you hug a child,
当你若是抱一个囡仔，
when you speak good, loving words to a child,
当你若按照一个囡仔讲好的话，
the child becomes less sick and healthier compared to the other children.
这个囡仔你会发现到，伊袂真常咧毋好咧破病，比较其他的囡仔真常咧毋好。
But when you shout at a child,
若是当你若是一个囡仔直直发，
when you criticize a
你
child,
直直嫌这个囡仔，
the child becomes addicted.
这个囡仔会变做会调，
The child becomes suicidal and
这
depressive.
个囡仔伊伫遐会心情郁卒，伊伫遐有一个叫做要想要自杀。
The child has low self-esteem and the grades go down.
这个囡仔看家己真低，伊的分数就伫遐直直袂升。
Words have the power of life and death.
咱所讲的话，是毋是会发当带来生命，带来死亡？
A soothing tongue is literally a healing tongue.
这个叫做医治的喙子，就是叫做医治咱的。
It's like our words become a source of life.
咱的话真做生命的泉源。
Somebody believes in me.
有人相信我，
Somebody appreciates what I do and notices me.
有人注意到我，有人欣赏我所做的。
Somebody values me even if I make a mistake.
虽然我创唔到，但是有人也是看重我。
Somebody in the family affirms me and supports me and encourages me in spite of me.
就是伫家庭内面呢，虽然我伫遐无完全，但是人发通来认同我，伫遐来接受我。
Have you not noticed?
你是毋是有发现到无？
That's the heart of God.
这就是上帝的心，
It's like we represent God to our children.
就是看咱做家长伫遐代表上帝伫咱的家庭内面，
It's like we represent God to our spouse.
咱就是看咱代表上帝交咱妻子的关系。
I love you no matter what.
就是我听一个，你会牵手，无论什么代志。
Imagine how your child's life will change if when you say, there's nothing you can do to make me stop loving you.
你要想想，当你若讲你的囡仔讲说，你无论做什么代志，拢无法通来禁止我伫遐来听你。
It's like we represent the heart of the God who is the source of encouragement, the ultimate encourager of our lives.
就是咱代表上帝，伊个心，就是上帝鼓励咱的心。
So powerful that it can change a family.
这个真有能力，法通改变一个家庭。
The healing tongue can cleanse our soul,
一个讲好的话，法通来医治咱的心灵，
can bind the wounds.
法通将跩着伤伫遐，再好起来。
All the slanders, all the bereavements, all the insults that we receive from the world,
就是咱对世界所听到、所得到的一大跩无好的话，伫遐讲无好的话呢，法通互咱得到医治。若讲好的话，
it's like home becomes a source of healing.
互咱看到家庭真做，互咱得到医治的一个所在。
Can you imagine that? The most important, the most exciting event of the day is coming home.
你是毋是有通想想，最第一欢喜的一项代志是，当你每一摆倒来到厝内，到厝内。
It's because it's the place where you are safe, you are free to fail and still be loved.
因为你知影，你一个厝内，一个家庭内面呢，你有安全，就是你虽然你 无你跋倒，但是也有人要听你，要接受你。
But something sick happens when the home becomes a place of criticism and rejection and condemnation.
但是假使呢，伫家庭反倒成做一个叫做批评一个叫做嫌的论断人的所在。
It's like you feel sick simply at the thought of coming home.
你就想讲说，我要倒去厝内，看到这款的厝内，我就感觉有点唔好咯。
We have to stop that.
咱就应该得停止这项代志，
Not only for the sake of our children,
唔是为着囡仔的缘故，
but for the sake of the name of God we carry.
就是为着咱代表上帝的缘故。
We have to be different from our culture,
咱应该就叫咱的文化有无相同，
a culture of encouragement.
是叫做鼓励人的这个文化。
Your words have the power to heal or to hurt.
你的话有法通来，互一个人得到医治，还是互一个人拄到创伤。
Choose to be an encourager.
竞选做一位会鼓励人的。
The world already has plenty of discouragers.
咱这个世界已经有真侪人伫遐，已经咧互你灰心失志啊！
That's the calling of a Christian.
这就是咱做基督徒的呼召，
Do not become like the world.
唔通亲像世界。
You see, having someone believes in you
假使若是有人伫遐相信你，
can make all the difference in the world.
就互你伫这个世界有一个真大的差别。
Are you a wonder
是毋是你一个也爱创互人着伤的人？
or are you a healer?
还是你伫遐咧帮助医治人的？
You see, there are many wonders in my life.
我要互你知影，伫我的人生有真侪互我着伤的人啊，
Critics,
还咧批评我的，
insults,
咧酸我的。
hurtful speech,
讲一话伤我的话，
shaming
一话互我真歹势、真见笑的话。
my teachers,
我的先生、
my friends,
我的朋友、
my parents,
我的家长、
my siblings,
我的兄弟姊妹，
from the world.
就全是对世界的。
Had it not been for God and some of God's people,
若毋是因着上帝甲上帝一寡子民，
I would end up committing suicide
我相信哦，我后大死会去自杀的，
or end up in prison.
啊是我就是也去关卡区咧。
I'm such an angry person because of all the hurts hurled against me.
我实是充满了生气的人，因为我所摕到、所接受的是一个叫做无好的话。
But praise God, there are wonders in my life, but there are healers as well.
但是伫遐来阿罗上帝，虽然有一寡人伫遐讨我的心伫遐着伤，但是有一寡人也讨我的心灵得到医治的。
My teacher who believed in me.
我的先生伊相信我，
My pastor who encouraged me to never give up.
我的牧师伫遐鼓励我，唔通伫遐来放弃。
My friend who was there with me even if I make a mistake.
就是虽然我做唔对的时阵，我有一寡朋友伫遐咧扶持我、支持我。
If you look back at your life,
当你若搁一摆回头看你的人生，
you see the few healers in your life.
你若看到一寡坏人伫遐，互你得到医治的人，
It's like they became the father you never had.
就变做你会变做是一个老爸，若你唔捌有的，
The encouragers who pushed you
就是一个鼓励你的人伫遐来帮助你，
and boosted you even if you don't want to go on anymore.
就是你感觉你无要搁行落去的时阵，但是在后壁，在朋友无停伫咧鼓励你。
Therese of Lisieux once said, "One word or a pleasing smile is often enough to raise up a saddened and wounded soul."
有一个人安尼讲说，若一句叫做一句话，还是一个真水的笑容呢，真常时阵有够热，通互一个叫做艰苦心，还是着伤的心灵的人徛起来。
You see, encouragement is not expensive.
我互你知影讲说，咱讲一句鼓励人的话呢，毋是讲说着爱开真侪钱，
Sometimes it's just a smile
有時陣哦是你對人一個人笑，
or one hug to your child
啊是你講你嘅囡仔，你該摸咧，該抱咧，
or one word to your spouse.
啊是講一句好聽嘅話，講你嘅牽手講一句好聽嘅話，
It's not expensive, it's not effortful, but it goes a long, long, long way.
唔是講說對開真濟錢，啊是對花也濟心神啊。
Finally,
最後，
good words satisfy the soul.
好嘅話滿足咱嘅心靈。
You see, something happens when we release encouragement to others.
你會發現到，當咱若開始向別人講出鼓勵人嘅話，有代志會發生。
Something happens to them,
在人聽到有發生代志，
but something happens also to us.
但是你無單單別人有發生代志，你家己你講嘅最好聽嘅話，你家己也是本身發生代志。
That's the law of any relationship.
這個就是叫做人甲人關係，這個做律。
When you bless them,
當你若祝福別人，
you become blessed as well.
反正你家己得到祝福。
It's like you reap the fruits of your tongue, of your words.
換一句話是講說，你修成你嘴所講嘅跩話跩價值。
You say something nice, something kind, something loving.
你若講好有自愛嘅話，有聽心嘅話。
Eventually, you feel loved and you feel encouraged as well.
你就家己感覺到，你也是有得到聽通，你家己得到鼓勵。
There's nothing more beautiful
無比這項代志佫較水嘅，
than seeing your child grow and overcome obstacles and turn around from his mistakes because of what you said.
就是佢哋看到你嘅囡仔，伊伫遐發當佇伊嘅困難佇艱苦時陣發當成功，是因為你佇遐無停咧講好聽話，咧鼓勵因。
And he never forgets you.
然後你嘅囡仔也永遠袂記你這個家中，
It's nothing more beautiful
這個是一個真水嘅代志。
than your marriage becoming more healthier and happier
你嘅婚姻佫較佇遐來幸福美滿，
because of what you said.
因為你所講嘅話做成嘅。
You see, when we bless others,
當咱若佇遐祝福別人。
our spouse, our children, our siblings, our parents,
咱的牽手，咱的囝兒，咱的爸母，咱的兄弟姊，咱厝內的兄弟姊妹，
you become blessed as well.
反正你家己得到真大的祝福。
You see, the Bible teaches us that we are held accountable for whatever we say.
聖經甲咱講說，咱喙所講的話，咱到下擺佇下要來負責任。
Your tongue can be an instrument of life.
因為你的舌頭是毋是叫做生命的器具，
Your tongue can also be an instrument of death.
還是你的舌頭是成做死亡的器具，
It can destroy and wound people.
我當毀滅人，互人着傷。
So powerful the tongue is.
咱的舌仔是非常的有能力。
You are potentially the most powerful person in your child's life.
你做家中，佇你的囡仔的身頂是一個真有能力的人。
You're potentially the most powerful person in your spouse's life.
伫你的牽手的，你是佇伊身頂是一個真有能力的人。
Be wise, be careful
咱應該就有智慧，愛小心，
on what we say.
就是你所講的每一句話。
The gift of encouragement is right with you right now.
因為互你知影講說，你要鼓勵人的話呢，是佇你的手咧。
You are in the best position to support,
因為你現在你有法通佇遐來支持扶持，
to believe in, and to journey
佇
with
遐
your
來
family.
相信，甲你的家庭會做親人相合來度過這個人生。
Somebody once said, a word of encouragement during a failure is worth more than an hour of praise after success.
有一個人安尼講說，一句鼓勵一個人當佇伊失敗的時陣呢，你講一句鼓勵伊的話，是贏過一個人成功了後，你講到一點鐘的跩學落伊的話佫較重要。
You see, failures are powerful moments.
互人看到跩失敗是一個真有能力的情形。
When somebody fails,
當一個人若失敗的時陣，
somebody makes a mistake,
當一個人若做毋對的時陣，
when your child fails the test,
假使你的囡仔佇遐考冊考袂成，
when your child loses the game,
啊是像即一个囡仔，伫遐伊分数伫遐读无好，
When your child make a mistake and broke a rule,
啊是即个囡仔伊伫遐来犯条规，
those are powerful moments.
所以是真有能力的机会。
Those are the times that they need encouragement.
所以就是伊真需要咱做家长伫遐来鼓励因。
It takes wisdom,
咱应该着爱有智慧，
not to flatter,
毋是要抱因，
but to encourage.
伫遐要来鼓励因。
It can make or break their lives for the next 50 years.
就是我通伫一个囡仔的身顶，你要互伊伫遐来成功，还是互伊失败？
That power to destroy and that power to build is within you.
就是伫你的出伫你家己，你有款的能力，互一个囡仔可能成做一个成功的人，还是互伊就是安尼花心真实际。
Bite your tongue
你伫遐就将你的指头甲夹咧，
and ask God for the right words to say.
问上帝讲说，我对讲什么款的话？
That's the power of life and death.
这就是生命甲死亡的能力的权柄。
I dare you to be a life giver
我挑战咱在座每一位，成做一个属生命的人，
and not a life drainer.
毋是将人的生命拖走的人。
You see, one of the best gifts of God to humanity is the gift of words.
咱知影话是上帝互人类一个真水的礼物，
But with such great gift comes great responsibility.
虽然这个伟大真水的礼物，也是带来一个真大的责任。
The way you use your words is an indicator. It's like a thermometer
你若是用你的话，是看亲像一个限时站，
of whether you are wise or foolish,
互别人知影，看你是一个聪明人，还是一个愚妄的人。
whether you are mature or immature.
互人看到讲说你讲的话，你是毋是一个成熟的人，还是一个叫做无成熟的人？
Of whether you are good or evil.
是互人知影讲说你讲的话，你是一个好的人，还是一个真邪恶的人？
What words are you saying?
到底你讲的话是什么呢？
Are your words encouraging or discouraging?
你讲的话是咧鼓励人，还是咧互人灰心啊？
Are your words healing or wounding?
你讲的话是毋是互人得到医治，还是互人着伤啊？
Are your words working at building people up or tearing them down?
你所讲的话是咧建立互人起来，还是咧将人给拖落去啊？
Wow, those are painful thoughts to process.
所以是一寡互人都应该都爱思想的一寡种物件。
My wife knows me very well.
我的看守的真正捌我，
I can be very hurtful in my speech.
伫我讲话，我真常伫遐咧着伤人啊，
That's how I grew up.
因为我就是安尼大汉的啊。
But by the grace of God, I'm learning.
但是因着上帝恩典，我伫遐咧学习，
I'm learning to be like God,
我学习可能亲像上帝，
to relate like God,
甲亲像上帝伫遐怎样交人伫遐有一个关
to
系，
love like God.
亲像上帝伫遐怎样听人。
I hope you are too.
但愿我是希望你也是安尼。
Our families, our marriages, our children, they don't have to become like the world.
咱的家庭、咱的婚姻、咱的囡仔，无需要亲像外面全世界的。
Keith Miller and Bruce Larson wrote a book entitled Passionate People.
有两位作者伊写一本册，
And in that book, they describe two kinds of people.
伫一本册伊有形容两款人，
The first type of people are the balcony people.
有一款人是叫做伫阳台的人，
The other group is the basement people.
另外一款人呢是叫做地下的人。
You see, basement people are the discouragers of our lives.
或者叫做属于地下的人，就是迄人哦，真常伫遐互咱灰心失志的人啊。
They may be people from our past or our present.
所以人可能是咱过去的，还是现主时存在的人。
But their words go with us everywhere we go.
但是呢，无论咱往倒落去的时阵，因所讲的坏话哦，叫咱三合做一个，
They are negative influences in our lives.
所以是叫做真对咱人生一个真消极、真负面的影响。
And the words of basement people go something like this.
或者地下室的人，因为是亲像安尼睇，
You can't do that.
你无可能安尼做啊！
That's a stupid thing to do.
你实是真讲我做这项代志，
When are you going to get it right?
你要等到什么时阵才冲着啊？
You'll never amount to anything.
你又是无路用的人啦。
Sounds familiar?
聽了真熟嗎？
The basement people in our lives,
所以就是咱地下室嘅人，
they divert us from our hopes and our dreams.
伊互咱對咱嘅願望、對咱嘅盼望，就係刷走。
They constantly point to us what's wrong with us
伊常常給你指點，講說你什麼唔對，什麼無好勢，
rather than what is right.
無佇遐來講說到底什麼錯對嘅。
Basement people cause the room to light up when they leave.
地下屬於地下室嘅人，當伊若離開一間房間呢，迄間房間咯充滿了光。
Can you imagine that? People are happier when you leave the room.
你是毋是有想象呢？當你若離開一個所在，人反倒更加歡喜啊！
Basement people.
所以是叫做地下室嘅人。
In contrast to them are the balcony people.
相反呢，是叫做伫陽台頂面嘅人。
These are people who are full of love and they cheer us.
所以是充滿了有聽心，伫後壁底下咧支持咱。
They encourage us to be loving and to become courageous followers of Christ.
伊伫遐無停嘅伫遐鼓勵咱，互咱伫遐更加有聽主。
They sit in the balcony section of our lives, cheering us on.
伊是坐伫咱人生嘅這個陽台頂面，伫遐無停伫遐咧鼓勵咱。
They say words like, "You can do it!
因所講嘅話講說，你有法通做啦，
We believe in
我
you!
相信你啦，你有法啦，
You are special to us."
你對阮來講是特別的。
Balcony people are great encouragers of our
伊
lives.
坐伫在陽台頂面嘅人呢，伊主要是真正伫遐咧大鼓勵咱。
And we all need them.
咱真需要一款嘅人。
Balcony people try to lift people up wherever they are.
所以伫陽台頂面嘅人呢，伊若看到人跋倒，就隨隨將伊家扶起來。
But basement people drag people.
但是若是地下室嘅人，看到人跋倒，佫愈家拖落去。
Are we going to be basement people or balcony people?
咱是毋是要愛誠做地下室嘅人，還是伫陽台嘅人啊？
I know the answer is obvious.
我知影咱嘅答案是真明顯嘅。
In the next few days, I
Did lo-
want you to write down the list of the names of the members of your family.
伫落去幾日呢，我伫遐建議你伫遐將你厝內每一個成員、每一個人嘅名寫起來，
Your spouse,
你會牽手嘅，
your children,
你嘅囡仔，
your siblings,
你嘅厝內跩兄弟姊妹，
your parents.
你嘅父母。
And beside their name, I want you to score yourself from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. How encouraging am I to this person?
然後呢，對跩每一個人嘅名嘅時陣呢，你就將你家己記一個分數，對1到10，10是第一幾個分數。然後你就問你家己一條問題：我對於跩厝內每一個人呢，我大鼓勵因啊！
Am I a wonder or a healer to this person?
我是毋是對我跩厝內所寫嘅跩人名呢？我對因是常常咧互因着傷，還是我伫遐互因鼓勵因，互因得到醫治啊？
Am I a life giver or a life drainer to this person?
對跩厝內每一個人名呢，我是毋是咧賜生命互因，還是將因嘅生命給推走啊？
And then you pray, you ask God, God, how can I encourage this person this week?
然後你就祈禱講說主啊，伫即禮拜我要將我伫遐來鼓勵跩厝內嘅人。
You know, the only way we can become encouragers to others
你知影咱若要誠做鼓勵別人嘅人，
is when we truly understand the ultimate encourager of our lives.
就互咱會知影講說，咱得着鼓勵是啥啊？
When we bask and dwell in the unfailing love of the encourager of our lives.
當咱若伫遐來到上帝面頭前，因為上帝是無停伫遐咧鼓勵咱。
In other words, we cannot give to others what we do not have.
換一句話來講，你無法通將你無嘅，則互別人啊。
And so when we come to God as the source of
所以
encouragement,
當咱若來到上帝面頭前，咱知影上帝是互咱嘅鼓勵嘅神。
when we understand that we are loved no matter what,
當咱若明白了解，雖然咱無完全，但是上帝永遠接受咱、聽咱。
when we dwell on the truth that we are accepted even when we fail,
咱互咱知影，咱佇真理內面，互咱知影講說，雖然咱佇遐無完全失敗，上帝永遠接受咱。
that this ultimate encourager embraces us in spite of us.
就是上帝，伊是唯一的咱的鼓勵者，佇遐來抱着咱、滿着咱。
We are encouraged, we are loved, we are accepted, and therefore we can do it to others, to our family as well.
所以當上帝若鼓勵咱，互咱得到真大的鼓勵甲幫讚，咱就法通佇遐用着一款的鼓勵去鼓勵別人。
There is no other way.
无别条路通行路。
You cannot love your family well.
你无法通去听你的家庭的
You
人，
cannot be an encourager to your family well
你无法通好好伫你厝内真做因的鼓励者，
unless the God of encouragement grips you and grabs you and fills your life with His unfailing love.
除了鼓励咱的上帝，伊伫遐来抱着你，充实你。
We need to allow God's love and God's encouragement to fill our minds and to fill our hearts.
咱就用阮上帝伊的听，伊的鼓励伫遐来充满咱，
Because we become who we worship.
因为咱会诚做，将来会诚做咱所敬拜的。
If the God we worship is an encourager,
假使咱所敬拜的上帝是一位鼓励你的人，
we become like God.
咱就会
We are become encouragers as well.
咱就会亲像上帝，咱也是伫遐法通来鼓励别人。
That's the only way we can become encouragers for others.
这个是唯一通互你诚做鼓励别人的方法。
God's unfailing love.
上帝伊无停止的阻碍，
Many of us have forgotten that.
咱真侪人拢袂记了这项代志咯。
That's why we're having a hard time
所以所以伫这项代志呢，咱真艰苦啊。
giving grace to someone who failed,
就是当人跋倒的时阵哦，你加淡薄恩典讨伊，
giving forgiveness to someone who hurt
啊
us,
是人若伫遐弱伤你的时阵哦，你真艰苦原谅人，
giving encouragement to someone who has disappointed us.
啊是人若互你真失望，你真艰苦伫遐来赦免伊、接受伊。
God's love does that to us.
但是上帝会听，伊安尼伫咱的心中安尼做到。